For the past couple of years, I've been very interested in research on relationships between climate and our imagination and our mental health. I was invited to create an artwork at the Hamburger Kunsthalle for the 250 years anniversary of Caspar David Friedrich. The Ephemeral Lake goes beyond the perspective of contrasting the human figure and the environment. I'm much more attracted to a worldview where our bodies and minds are kind of merging together with these environmental energies and other species, and where our boundaries is more blurred. When you see his artworks, you see these big landscapes. They're actually composed of little drawings that he made in many different locations. And then like a collage, he kind of remixes that together. I was very inspired by this approach, and it mimics how I create artworks when I go to environments to record sounds, to digitize natural elements. I have like hundreds of pieces in the end, and then I put this together to create a new environment. I went to the Mojave Desert in California and documented a whole ecosystem that appears every 5 years, but only for a few months, and then it vanishes again. It just looks like this big dead desert that once in a while has a lake. But beneath it is actually this giant world of water. So when I was creating the artwork, I thought about these two floors in the Kunsthalle as representing these two worlds. I went to record sounds, digitize natural formations, rocks, plants, different insects. And from that, I've created a video game that controls everything you see and hear in the exhibition. There is the upper floor where you see a large screen. It's changing all the time, and it shows what's happening inside of this virtual lake. That virtual lake then controls everything that you hear around you. But it also controls what happens on the floor below in the exhibition space, where you see these 3D printed glass lamps hanging from the ceiling. And that glass is created from different rocks that I 3D scanned in the environment. And these lamps, again, is connected to musical vibrations. In all of my artworks, I've worked with the concept of polyphony, making many-voiced worlds. The Ephemeral Lake is the first time where the artwork itself is an instrument. It has the sound of a world that is normally beyond our human comprehension. Once you pay attention to all the forms of life, like water moving through rocks and little algae and insects that live near those, suddenly a whole world opens up. And it is this largely inaudible world to our human ears that I've focused on for the artwork itself. For the past 6 years, I've increasingly worked with musicians and composers who I invite to inhabit the worlds that I create. Okyungli is creating these really strong vibrations on the cello that are inspired by these energies that exist beneath the desert. Then there's also Lou O'Neill that works with environmental sounds, but also create these strange musical compositions inside of the artwork. The virtual environment is mapped onto the architecture using the echoes to cast sound around you. It's really a practice of merging virtual worlds, physical architecture, through sound in particular. Everything you hear is a living composition, so all the sound mixes and changes as you're watching it. It will never repeat itself. There's the sense of the landscape itself becoming alive. It has a rhythm, it has a pulse, this idea of a sentient lake that is controlling the whole architecture of the building. All these images that I have on the table and on the wall are things that can happen in this virtual environment, but I will never really know what you actually see in here. When people visit the Ephemeral Lake, I really hope that they will get a sense of curiosity. It's a new perspective on what a lake can be and what the world can actually look like, because everything you see in its individual elements is reality. It's just at a scale of life and a place where people really look.